Our next question, Jim, sent into CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from Matt in Melbourne. Dave Meltzer reported in The Observer in April 1995 that Jim Cornette and the Gangstas would be appearing on the Jerry Springer Show, playing off their feud in Smoky Mountain. But in the April 24th Observer, Dave reported the deal actually fell apart because Vince McMahon stepped in and pointed out that in 49 other states, Cornette is viewed as a WWF personality and nixed the whole idea. My questions are, is this true? If so, did you actually film anything for the show? How did it come about? And what was Jerry like?
Well, it wasn't 49 other states. It was 47. But, and no, Vince didn't nix it, but Vince talked me into nixing it. This fucking, somebody had called us, and this was when, at first, Jerry Springer was somewhat of a shoot, right? They got these fucking knuckleheads on there and wound them up and let them go, but it was kind of a shoot. But then at some point, it became, when they ran out of fucking real knuckleheads, it became a work. And as a matter of fact, Jamie Dundee, J.C. Ice, he actually appeared several times and booked talent for Jerry Springer for a while in the late 90s, I think, when it was really just garbage and just all phony and made up. But anyway, somebody had seen the Smoky Mountain program and called us. They did the Jerry Springer Show, and I want to say Chicago. Is that correct? That's correct, I believe. And they called us and they wanted to do a show about it, about the Gangstas, and then, you know, the wild-eyed Southern boys. So they were looking at, there's Tracy Smothers with the Confederate flag and the fucking Gangstas with all their shit. And they wanted Bob Armstrong as the commissioner. And you know, I was going to be on because I could talk, I guess. I don't know, whatever the fuck. But I said, well, it might get us some goddamn publicity. So, okay, we'll fucking do it. And also, I was going to get all the guys a payoff. I was not fucking enamored of the idea completely because I wasn't going to fucking fly. I was too stressed at that point to go through flying. So I was going to actually, after a Johnson City show on Saturday, I was going to drive to Chicago on Sunday, do the taping on like a Monday, and come back on Tuesday to do post-production in Tennessee. But anyway, that was the weekend that Undertaker came up and did Johnson City and Pikeville, Kentucky. And the Gangstas mentioned to him that they were going to be on a Jerry Springer show, and he called Vince. And then Vince found me and called me at the hotel in Johnson City the day before the day of the Freedom Hall show. I'd come back from Pikeville and stayed in Johnson City and was going to do the show that night. And he did his Vince thing, his Vince Jedi mind trick, where I had no idea why he was calling me. We talked for 15 minutes, and at the end of it, I didn't want to do the goddamn Jerry Springer show anymore. Fuck the whole goddamn thing. Because he makes you see his, I mean, part of it was, well, you know, Jim, you're a representative of the WWF, except in the Smoky Mountain territory, and a blah, blah, blah. But I don't even remember what he said, but he's so smooth. He used to be. I don't know if he still can do this today. But how do you think he's gotten all those guys to do all those things that they didn't want to do? He just talks to you and he gives you his side. And by the time you get off the phone, you're thanking him for calling you and smartening you up. But anyway, but then the fucking Jerry Springer people were hot on Monday morning when I called him and said, well, we ain't coming. But, you know, what are you going to do? But he had, you know, Jerry Springer was just going to be publicity and get the guys a payoff of some description, which is going to be a number of $100. But Vince had just given me The Undertaker for 2 big shows and was giving me talent. And obviously me and the bodies, actually, the bodies had already gone up. I was not managing the bodies anymore, but they'd gone up full time. But I was still working with Owen and Bulldog, blah, blah, blah. So he was more important. He didn't want us to do it. Okay, we didn't do it. But that's what happened. But that would have been interesting television. But they thought, I think, because they were trying to lead us like they were going to get cranked up like Tracy was some kind of Southern racist asshole and we were all racists and everything. No, they were going to get surprised because the the anti-gangster crew was going to be the baby-facedest fucking bunch of people you've ever seen, and the goddamn gangsters were going to do everything but, sodomize live fucking babies on the air. So they would have got a different show than what they were thinking anyway.